Hello and welcome to this week's Wild Spirits News. My name is Sibylle and your mission today is to find out what's your type. Don't worry, I've not branched out into romantic advice. Although in fact I have some training as a mediator. You can file this under little known facts about Sibylle. That's something you know now. But no, this is not what this video is about. I'm on about productivity styles, your type when it comes to work. And the reason why this is important is that our society tends to judge everyone by the same measure. It's like this cartoon, you may have seen this. There's a cartoon, a row of animals, there's a monkey and there's a fish and there's an elephant and I think a wild cat and a bear or whatever, and somebody at the table and says, okay, in order to be fair, everybody gets the exact same test. Please climb a tree. And obviously these animals will all be wildly different in their ability to climb a tree. And that is a bit like our society treats people. We may not look as differently as a fish looks from an elephant, but our abilities and our natural strengths and weaknesses still vary wildly and more. They vary more than they are given credit. And your mission today is to clarify it a little bit, to find out what your style of productivity, what your work style is, and more importantly, how to make the most of it. Your first task is to find out which one is you. Roughly speaking, there are three main types, and I call them the sprinter, the stayer, and the seasonal worker. I'm going to describe some characteristics of all of them, and then you'll quickly realize where you fit in. And by the way, every one of us has some characteristics of all three of them, but there's usually one that is more dominant than the others, which you will probably notice and realize when you hear them described. So the sprinter is somebody who sets out on a new task or any new endeavor with a lot of enthusiasm. They get a lot done in a short time. They have high levels of energy and people admire them. They are the people who post on Facebook, I lost 20 pounds in my first month, or whatever it is that they do. They accomplish a lot in a short time. However, they tend to sometimes run out of steam further down the line. So consistency is usually not their strongest point. The second type is the stayer. Now, as the word implies, they are the consistent people, and they are the ones that society rewards. They're the workers that are steadily plug away are always there, always reliable. They're the students in school or in university who consistently achieve high grades. You can rely on them to be there and to be good. They may not be the biggest genius in any one area, but you can rely on consistent performance throughout. The last type is called the seasonal worker, and that is somebody who can have high periods and phases of high energy and high input and huge productivity. And that alternates with phases where they seem to drop off the face of the earth and suddenly you don't see them anymore, or nothing seems to happen, nothing seems to move forward. And then suddenly they resurface again, and there's another bout of high energy where they get a lot done. Again, not the most consistent type, but they keep coming back and showing up and doing things, just not very consistently. Now, like I said, at first glance, the consistent type seems the best, because that is what we are brought up to. This is what our school system rewards. This is what our work life is built around. And that seems to be, and obviously we all know that in order to achieve anything, you need a certain amount of consistency. However, if you're one of those workhorses that just always plugs away, there might be a lack of inspiration, of real genius, of real high energy that is also needed to get things done. So a little bit of everything is probably the best thing, but the most important thing is that you recognize which of these three types is yours, which fits you the most, more than the other two, and how to make the most of that. Task number 2 is predictably make your type work for you. Now, first of all, your type, your work type, your productivity style does not define you. This is not you. This is just a particular part of your life. It's something that a part of your personality, something that suits you. This is your strength and weaknesses in one particular area of life. It's not you or all of you. So just to start off with that. Now, to make the most of whatever type you are, you need to do two things. First of all, you need to play to your strengths and really use those strengths. And I think I pointed out the strengths of each type very clearly. Use those. And secondly, for your weaknesses, I'm not going to tell you work on your weaknesses and become consistent if you're not, or become a genius if you're a consistent worker. That's a waste of time. Research shows that it's much more efficient to enhance what you're already good at, to enhance your strengths rather than to do a lot of work to try to get any better at your weaknesses. Rather, the second part of the task that I suggest is to get support for your weaknesses and make them work for you by either teaming up with somebody who's a different type. This works well in work teams, in good trusted work teams where people aren't afraid to admit to their strengths and weaknesses. You can find somebody who complements you and work like that. Or you can get outward support from a coach, from somebody. I mean, if you're an entrepreneur and you're really good at what you're doing, but really bad at administration and accounting and all this, outsource it. Get somebody else to do it. If you're a creative type who's really bad at housework, try and find somebody to clean the house for you. Do bartering, do something for them, they do something for you, and so on and so forth. You can make this work. You just need to be creative. And of course, get support. I will always recommend get coaching in order to make this work for you. Nobody is condemned to failure just because they have a certain style of working. Stop beating yourself up just because you don't fit the norm of society. And instead, look at what is uniquely you, what works for you, and how you can take the best advantage of that. So your third task is to let me know about this. What is your type? I would love to know. Hit reply on the email and let me know what your type is and what your insights are about this. I'll email you back, I promise. And if you didn't get the link to this video in an email, that means you're not part of the Wild Spirits community yet and should join us. You do that by going to my website, wildspiritscoaching.com, and filling in the little form there. There's also a free life audit that you can take. And if you fill in the form at the end of the life audit, one of the things that does is also to subscribe you to Wild Spirits News. The newsletter is 100% spam free. It's just one email per week with lots of additional information, in addition to the link to the video, like extra articles, resources, recommendations of books and other things, and also some exclusive offers that only my subscribers ever get to see. So go to wildspiritscoaching.com and sign up, or you can Google Wild Spirits Coaching. That'll get you to the website as well. Thank you for watching.